So the general process, the general steps of coupling can vary depending on the type of vehicle you're driving, but it is a skill that does require patience, practice, and constant repetition. In short, there are 16 steps. So step one, you'll inspect the fifth wheel and kingpin, which is the inspecting phase. Then step two, you want to check the area and secure the trailer, which is getting into the position phase. Step three is position the tractor, which is getting to the position phase. Step four is back slowly into position, which is getting into position phase. You have secure the tractor or truck. Then you want to check the trailer height, connect the airlines, supply air to the trailer, start the engine, and set the trailer brakes. So that's the connecting phase. You have back under the trailer, check the connection, secure the vehicle, inspect the coupling, connect the electrical cord, and check the airlines, raise the landing gear, and then remove the chalk. So that's part of getting ready to go. So those are the 16 steps, but we want to dive deep into it. But before we do, you have to know what coupling is. So coupling is the act of connecting a truck or a tractor and trailer together. So you're coupling a truck to the trailer, the tractor to the trailer, or the main one vehicle to another. Those are the main things to keep in mind of. So we're going to dive deeper into these 16 steps. The first step, you want to inspect the fifth wheel and kingpin. So the four main pillar or sections to be aware of when you're inspecting the fifth wheel and kingpin is the jaw, the mounting, the lubrication, and the surface. With the jaw, the damaged jaw mechanism is a common problem. So that's why you want to check for cracks in the frame, loose bolts, and missing or broken fasteners. With the mounting, you want to verify and confirm that the mounting of that fifth wheel to the tractor is mountedly secured. Then the lubrication, whether you're driving a fifth wheel on your vehicle, it requires and needs lubrication. So you need to know whether your fifth wheel needs lubrication. You may have serious steering problems if you don't have enough lubrication. That's why it's important. Some don't require grease, so that's why you have to make sure that you know what kind of lubrication you need for your vehicle. Otherwise, you need to know which vehicle you're working with. Then the surface. The winter condition can actually cause ice or snow to build up. So the chassis or scrape any ice off to get a good connection. You want to make sure you do that so that way you can be able to effectively be able to connect the tractor and trailer. A couple of definitions to keep in mind. Fifth wheel is the coupling device that joins the front end of the trailer to the tractor. So it's a flat, rounded plate with a V-shaped notch in the rear of that tractor. And the trailer kingpin fits into the fifth wheel, allowing the tractor to actually pull that trailer. Then you also have kingpin. Kingpin is a 2-inch steel pin that's attached to that upper fifth wheel plate, which is underneath of the front of the trailer. Then you have the landing gear. So the landing gear is for the trailer part of it. So the landing gear is the supporting legs that holds that semi-trailer when you're disconnecting it from the tractor. So when you're disconnecting it from the tractor, the landing gear supports those legs onto the semi-trailer. Now, remember, when you're doing this, check the position of the fifth wheel, and then the rear should be tilted down with the jaws open and release the handle unlocked. So the release handle should be unlocked with the jaws open. Then you check the kingpin to make sure that it's not loose, bent, or broken. Step two, check the area and secure trailer by getting into position. This is the get into position phase. You want to check the area, secure the trailer by making sure you have enough space to maneuver safely. Check your cargo to make sure that it's secured and it won't shift or get damaged. And then secure the trailer by chalking the wheels before you head back to the tractor. Now, if the trailer has spring brakes, you want to verify and double check, make sure and confirm that they have been applied. Step three, position the tractor. This is part of getting into the position phase. You have to position that tractor squarely and exactly in front of that trailer. And then you don't come in at an angle. Do not come in at an angle because bumping that trailer might push it sideways and actually damage the landing gear or even worse. So make sure you also align the kingpin with the throat of the fifth wheel and slowly back into position. So remember a couple of key words to remember. You have the steering axle, which is responsible for controlling the wheel direction, of course, controls the steering wheel or controls the steering. You have the drive axle, which are the axles or axles that is powered and it pulls the vehicle or the load. Then you have the tandem axle. Tandem axles is two sets of axles, one right behind another, and it could be on a truck, a tractor, or a trailer. Step 4, you want to back slowly into position. This is part of getting into the position phase. By backing slowly, stop just before that fifth wheel makes contact with the trailer. Now, if you can't see the fifth wheel from the driver's seat, look to your left mirror. Then line up the outside of a sleeper's cab tires so they are 3 inches from the edge of a 102-inch trailer and flush with a 96-inch trailer. So if you're coupling with a sleeper cab or a tractor with a tandem drive axle, you want to definitely make sure there are 3 inches from that edge of the 102-inch trailer. Make sure it's flush, literally close and flush with the 96-inch trailer. Now, if you have a tandem axle drive on your tractor, the vehicle that you're driving, you want to stop when the trailer headboard is splitting the tandem. Then when driving that single axle, just stop when the rear trailer is just under the trailer. Step 5, you want to secure the tractor or truck, and this is part of getting into the position phase. So you want to secure the tractor by shifting into neutral and setting that parking brake before you climb from that cab by applying, you are pulling by pulling that yellow knob parking brake. Step 6, you want to check the trailer height, which is part of getting into the position phase. So check the trailer height so that it will be low enough to contact the fifth wheel, but not high enough to damage the kingpin or the tractor trailer itself. Then the trailer will come slightly behind the pivot points in the pivot pins in the middle of the fifth wheel. Then the trailer will rise slightly when you back under it. So the trailer height is extremely important because I cannot stress enough. It's important because if it's too high, the trailer may not even couple correctly, or that fifth wheel can completely miss the pin. And if the trailer itself is too low, then you could actually damage its nose. And it could be worse if you damage the kingpin or any part of the trailer or the tractor. So remember, the perfect height is the recipe for success, but a high that's not right, then that's a recipe for disaster. Step 7, you want to connect the airlines, and this is part of getting to the position. The main key definitions to remember and to know is you have the air suspension, the airlines, and the gland hands. The air suspension uses airbags to cushion that vibration and road shocks, and it dampens the ride. It's located between the axle and the frame of the truck or vehicle, whereas the airlines carry compressed air from one part of the air brake system to another, and it actually transfers air from the tractor to the trailer, air lines connected. Then you have gland hands. Gland hands is the connector that's mounted on the front of a trailer for connecting the airline from the tractor. So if your trailer does not have any working spring brakes, now is the perfect time to connect your airlines and air up the trailer brake system so you can be able to stabilize it. No, your company may not want you to hook the airlines up until later in the process. So you want to make sure you double check with your company's protocols, procedures, and policies just to be sure. So there are 5 simple, easy steps to connect your tractor gland hands to the trailer gland hands with ease. 5 steps is step 1, check the gland hands thoroughly and give special attention to their seals. Step 2, connect the red E or emergency line to the driver's side connector and the blue or service line to the passenger side connector. Step 3, you want to start by lining the hose up with the gland hand and 90 degrees away from the lock position. So you want to line the hose up with the gland hand at a 90 degrees away from that locked position. Step 4, rotate the tractor gland hands into the lock position on the trailer gland hands. And then step 5, make sure the airlines won't be pinched or snagged when you back up. Now, step 8, supply air to the trailer. This is part of the getting into the position phase. You want to get out, get back in the cab. Then with the engine off, supply or give air to the trailer by pushing in the trailer button. You want to push in that trailer air supply knob, that red trailer air supply knob. Then check the pressure gauge with your window open and listen for escaping air. It's very simple, but one of the best ways to make sure that you don't have a leak. So it's one of the best ways. Then you want to fix any bad connection. So if your trailer has spring brakes and your company wants you to hold off on connecting those airlines to the trailer until later in the process, then you do not push the trailer button. Now, step 9, you want to start the engine and set the trailer brakes. So this is part of the connecting phase. So once you have solid connections, then you want to start the engine, make sure the pressure is in normal, and apply the trailer brakes so the trailer stays put as you back under that kingpin. Then you want to apply the trailer brakes, which is the red knob, red air supply knob. If it's not already applied, you want to pull out the air supply knob for moving the tractor protection control valve from normal to emergency. Step 10 is to back under the trailer. This is part of the connecting phase. So set the tractor to the lowest reverse gear and release the parking brake. And you want to make sure there's no one near the tractor, there's no one near the trailer, and then you want to begin to back slowly. So watch the driver's side mirror. As a professional driver, you always want to be mindful. Check your sides, check your blind spots. While you're backing up, you want to back up, make sure that the trailer lifts slightly as that fifth wheel goes under. Trailer should stay centered over those drive wheels. So the crucial steps to make sure you're safely connecting the tractor and trailer with ease. Easy, simplest way to do it is to make one additional stop here for a quick visual check, just to make sure everything's aligned. You can never be too sure, so go ahead and double check, especially if you are on rough terrain or a slide or uneven slope. Then you want to stop immediately and set the parking brakes. Now, if the trailer begins moving to the rear or to the side more than a few inches, then you want to stop immediately and set the parking brakes. Then stop when you hear the click of the jaws closing around that kingpin. To note, the pros, the professionals of the driver or other professionals in the field, they know that if you hit the pin too hard, it can damage the kingpin or your fifth wheel. And trust me, you do not want to break the kingpin or the fifth wheel because they are very expensive to replace. And therefore, you have to be very, extremely careful to take it slow. Just take your time. You want to avoid costly damages from going on your record or ending up costing you additional time, money, and stress. So definitely avoid damage and any costly damages. Step 11, check the connection. This is part of the connecting phase. Once you feel and hear the fifth wheel lock, switch to the lowest forward gear and gently pull forward while the brakes are still locked. So you want to stop as soon as you feel that resistance. And just keep in mind, you don't want to move the trailer. Once you feel that resistance, you want to tug 2 more times, also known as the tug test or the parking brake check. You want to do that once the steering wheel is turned to the left, and 2, you do it again with the wheel turned to the right. Then you want to make sure you secure the vehicle by getting out and check the connection. Use your goals. Step 12, secure the vehicle. This is part of the getting ready to go phase, getting ready to go. So you want to apply the parking brake, shut off the engine, and take the key. Get in the habit of doing this measure, doing this step, because that extra safety measure, you are making sure you're checking the connection. So to make sure the vehicle itself won't move while you're checking that connection every time. Step 13, you want to inspect the coupling. So this is part of the getting ready to go phase. So even if everything feels or seems like it's well connected, you still need to visually inspect the coupling. Double check. You can never be too sure. So you want to check the connection by bringing a flashlight with you so you can visually see and get a good look at the coupling underneath the trailer. Then you want to start by verifying or just confirming, making sure that there's full contact between the upper and lower fifth wheel. The release handle should be in the locked position. Now, if there's a space then that means there's a problem. So then you will have to fix it before you do anything else. And if you didn't get a good contact, then it could be caused by several things and other determining factors. So it could be either uneven ground, the kingpin is sitting on the ridge inside of the jaw. It could be the kingpin on top of the closed fifth wheel jaws. Any one of these factors will allow the trailer to easily come loose, easily leading to an accident, injuries, and other costly damages. Therefore, you have to remember to ask someone for help if you're not familiar with your fifth wheel or what your fifth wheel is supposed to look like. Also remember, the driver should also check for any gaps between the fifth wheel and the trailer. So you want to check the release arm or release handle and make sure that it's locked with the safety catch in position. Then you want to aim your flashlight into the throat of the king of the fifth wheel. Then you want to confirm the jaws that they're closed and locked into place around the shank of the kingpin rather than the head. Step 14, connect the electrical cord and the electric air lines. You want to check the air lines. This is part of getting ready to go phase. So when you know the coupling is secured, connect the electrical and check all the air lines again. You want to plug the electrical line or the green electric line into the trailer to fasten the latch. Note, if you held off connecting the air lines because your trailer has spring brakes and your company does not want you to connect them earlier in the process, then this is the step where you connect them now using the 5 simple steps to connect the tractor gland hands to the trailer gland hands with ease. So you check both of the air lines and electrical cord, and you make sure that they are secured and undamaged. Then you check that their position won't cause any damage. You don't want them rubbing against anything. You don't want them lying on the tractor catwalk or in a place where they might just snag onto something. So make sure it's mildly secure. And to keep in mind, damaged lines could cause fatal trailer brake light, or even worse. So remember, any damaged lines could cause faulty trailer brake light, or even worse, faulty brake lines themselves or faulty brakes. Step 15, raise the landing gear. This is part of getting ready to go. Once you sorted out all the lines, you're almost ready to go. You just need to raise the landing gear by start raising the landing gear in low gear. Then once you crank the trunks easily, push in or pull that crank handle to switch to high gear. And then make sure the legs are all the way up so they don't get damaged on railroad tracks, obstacles, and then secure the crank handle. There should be plenty of space and room between the rear of the tractor frame and the landing gear. So you'll also want good clearance between the top of that trailer tier and the bottom of the trailer itself. And remember, the tandem axles is the 2 sets of axles, one right behind another, and it could be a tractor trailer or a combination vehicle. And lastly, step 16, remove the chalk. So this is part of getting ready to go phase. So once you inspect the trailer and you make sure it's in good condition, the last step is super easy. Just remove the wheel chocks and store them in a safe place. Then now you're ready to safely drive and hit the road. And those are the 16 steps to safely couple your tractor trailer or combination vehicle. Hey, BET Trainer here. Listen, if you really had true value out of this video, go ahead and click that like button and share some honest comments about this video, because this is going to help other people as well see the video and get the value information, so that way they can be inspired by what you're doing right now as well. So also, if you want to get the latest updates, go ahead and click the subscribe button, so then you can be able to always be updated on the next instant video that will be put out. So again, go ahead and do that. And this video was sponsored by BET Life Services and CDL for Life.